Just a brief content warning, this next episode features a lot of racist imagery, racial slurs, and less than friendly portrayals of Chinese migrant workers and Native Americans. So if you're easily offended by that kind of stuff, you might want to either skip this episode or at least lower the volume a bit, because there's a lot of plot among all the racism. Either way, viewer discretion is advised. So one thing I didn't get a chance to show off yet is that the title screen actually changes depending on where you are and what mission you currently have selected. So this first one is Blackfoot Camp when you start up the game. This next one is when you're on the Morning Star and it's being taken over by the white man turned savage. This next one is when you first enter Dodge City. So before you go into the Alhambra Saloon. And this next one is on when we're on the mission that we're on now, which is the broken bridge between Dodge City and Empire.
That's kind of a nice touch.
Yeah, and there's one title screen for every location, and the title screen will change a little bit depending on what mission you're on.
Reed, that son of a bitch is gonna pay. Just as soon as I get to Empire City.
Oh, we got a whiskey bomb.
Sweet, hand grenades.
Yeah, yeah, this is our first throwable weapon. And so yeah, let's go over to the shopkeep, and we got some money from our side missions.
Just received a new shipment of goods. Have a look.
Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna hold off on the scalping knife because, as I mentioned before, scalping does nothing. So we're gonna wait on the scalping knife because we need it for 100% anyway, just to grab it. But we're gonna wait until we've got a lot of money before we get the scalping knife. So we got some upgrades there that are gonna help us in this next mission. Also, don't go too far off the path because there are invisible walls out there in the Wild West. If you try to leave Dodge.
Plexiglass? What?
Also, can you read this texture? Because I can't.
Yeah.
I tried reading it for a couple seconds.
Really bad texture work, guys.
Carrying a firearm is strictly forbidden. Anyway, oh dear.
Oh no.
What are you up to, Denton?
Oh, this is gonna go to an uncomfortable place.
Oh, I'm just showing off that you have different slots for your various weapons, and in this case, you can theoretically switch between the different pistols, but as I mentioned before, every weapon that you receive is a straight upgrade for the previous weapon, with a few exceptions. Let's get this over with.
No, you listen. I'm the boss, and I say this bridge has got to
This
open.
the road to Empire?
Huh? Well, yeah, till Quick Killer shut it down. He and his band have been keeping things so hot, even the Irish won't work anymore. Only the damn coolies are willing.
Where you want me?
On the far end of the bridge, son. Chinamen got one last section to go, and I don't want them stopped again. Kid, keep an eye peeled. Indians made off with a box of TNT last night. They're aiming to use it, I'm sure.
This was a different time, folks. We apologize on behalf of the Wild
Oh,
West.
yeah. Also, it was 2005. Very different time of video game developments. I just blew up that man with TNT.
There's a burning arrow stuck in your hat.
Yes. Let's laugh at the white man's white man's pain. That's way more socially acceptable than all of the Indians that we're slaughtering. I'm sorry, folks. This is part of the game. This is what the audience intended, and knowing how the game ends and having played through the whole game once beforehand, I can kind of understand where they're going with this, but only in hindsight. And yeah, there's I think the problem I have with this section, more so than the portrayal, is the framing of it.
Yeah, a little bit. This is simultaneously not historically accurate and painfully historically accurate.
The issue that I have more so with this is that if Neversoft were simply trying to shock or offend by itself, I wouldn't like it, but I could at least respect what they were trying to do. But they're not trying to do that. This is them trying to be cool. It's trying to be aesthetically pleasing. And that, I think, pisses me off more than the actual racist portrayal of it. It's how it's framed. Also, this section is incredibly difficult. The enemies down there won't spawn until you cross that specific section on the floor. Also, I'm pretty sure that enemy down there said, "Ow, me need water." Those riflemen are the main reason why a lot of this particular level is difficult. So yeah, not only is this an incredibly racist level, it's also really goddamn hard. Easily the hardest of like the early section of the game. And mostly it has to do with the riflemen, who are surprisingly... They are far and away some of the toughest enemies in the early game. We're just going to wait for this transport to go over here very slowly.
Moving platform puzzles.
So, yep, we got TNT over there. Essentially, we're protecting one racist stereotype from another racist stereotype. I guess two negatives can cancel each other out in the long term.
Kill the Indians. They're not even subtle about this.
I mean, I know that Cleveland's baseball team are terrible, but do you really have to murder them? This section is also very difficult, not because of this set piece here. This is the easy part, but coming up later, there are some riflemen that are spawned in a particular position where, if you're not ready and don't have particularly high health, they will stagger you to death in a very particular spot. Also, I was trying to figure out, because there are some enemies that spawn earlier, and I was trying to figure out if you could kill them a little quicker before getting into the elevator, but no, not into the bridge transport. But nope, you can't do it.
Not in a good spot for it.
No. I was trying to get into the character to understand why Cole would be murdering all those goddamn engines, but I just never could understand it. Just not the right time. So yeah, I'm hiding from these riflemen. Also, not realizing that they're coming up the other side, and they're about to ambush me. Like, I'm not noticing those arrows on the side, because that's usually where they spawn. And oh god, riflemen, please don't hurt me.
I surrender-ish.
Yes, I surrender with my loaded gun pointed right at your face. That is the universal sign of surrender, is it not? At least in your culture. As I, a white man, am perfectly literate in all the ways of the Indian. I, Colton White.
You gotta keep that whiskey coming, or this is the hand that he shoots with.
It's how he deals with the PTSD. You see, this is it. Colton is actually woke, and this is whiskey is how he deals with all the racism of his day.
Oh my god.
Colton
Colton is almost the victim here.
This game would be so much better if he actually was.
Kid, that's a load off my mind. Now you cover the road and let the Chinaman do the rest.
Easy for you to say.
Chuba! Let's go!
And then the game crashed
Aww.
on this cutscene, so I had to do that all over again.
Oh no!
Thankfully, it's saved from that checkpoint where you had to place the TNT. So I only had to do half the mission again. And you can skip cutscenes, which is even better. So it's not as bad as it's not as bad as it could be. So switching weapons, something I was doing earlier. In order to switch weapons, you hold down the left arrow on the D-pad and use the C stick to switch between weapons. Doesn't that sound intuitive?
What? No.
It actually, I mean, it is awkward at first, but it's only awkward if you're like in the middle of a fight.
So it's kind of like a ghetto weapon wheel.
Yes, a weapon wheel mapped to the really mushy GameCube D-pad.
Take cover!
Also, I like this section a lot more because there's less screaming. The less war screaming, the better, in my opinion. Also, that arrow is
again
like
with
lodged,
the flaming arrow.
It's like right through his shoulder, I think.
It's okay. It disappears. He's all right after that.
Oh no! Can't racist stereotypes all get along? Stop killing each other. They also got like actual native voice actors to do this, which is probably the worst part of this. I can't imagine them having...
I can't imagine pitching this to them.
Well, I think I think a big enough paycheck may have had something to do with it. Just, Ooh. In general, I mean, at that point in time, this was the Wild West of 2005.
Neversoft, we're doing everything wrong right.
One of the voice actors is someone that I think you'll recognize. In a future video, he will be voicing one of the NPCs, including the Indian trader. Because the Indian trader that I mentioned earlier, he wasn't cut. It was just that one side quest where you would have traded the scalps for money that was cut. You could still buy items off of him that are just like straight upgrades. Is it just me, or do I think like the from an aesthetic and like less racist perspective, the screams sound a lot better when they're pitched down in quick draw.
Yeah, they're a little more Wilhelm scream.
Damn, kid, that was some kind of shooting. Old Quick Killer's gonna think twice before he tries something again. Son of a... God damn it, the devil won't give up!
I'll take care of this.
It's never a bad time for a Mystery Science Theater 3000 joke. So you're supposed to use quick draw here for these arrows. Also, I would like to issue a correction. Apparently, the LP that Missile Waster did on Insane, I don't know if it's 100% or close to it, but he certainly did a lot of the side missions. But that's also on Insane. This one's going to try to be a little more in-depth, like in terms of like generally showing off as much of the game as I can. It's just not on Insane, so... Whoops, mea culpa. So there's two sections to this boss fight, although there's no checkpoint in the middle. First section is you have to phase out the TNT. Then there's a couple of flunkies who come in. It is possible to take them out all in one shot, but I didn't quite get that this time. And then there's another phase here where there's 4 of them.
Wow, that animation is awkward.
Okay, so here is a death that I had against Quick Killer, just to show what Quick Killer can actually do. Because on hard and insane, he's really tough. and I'll show you why. I showed
He
the
kills
death.
you pretty quick.
Yeah, he lives into his name. I'll show you why I showed that death. Because when I actually fought him for real here, I think I kind of broke him. Well, I failed that, but there, he's not moving. I think that whiskey bomb kind of ruined his AI there. At least he spent his dying breath, you know, reaffirming his love for the Green Bay Packers.
The white man's firewater strikes again.
Kid, thanks to you, this bridge will be open lickety-split and you and Jenny can be on your way.
That stage route will still be crawling with Apaches. How many men you got coming with us?
Just two, driver and shotgun messenger.
That ain't enough.
That's all you got. Apache's got everyone else too damn scared.
So that sound you just heard was a leftover melee swing. This game has a weird habit of loading out extra sound effects before and after cutscenes. I've cut most of those out in previous videos, but you'll be hearing them on occasion. So anyway, now that the bridge is finished, let's go back here. Sorry, horse. Let's go back here and pick up some more gold that's just lying around. So gold is one of the collectibles. There are 44 gold patches throughout the open world of the Wild West. So that translates to 440 smackers we can get. It's probably the biggest money resource in the whole game.
Almost enough for a Sega Dreamcast release.
In 1880s money.
In 1880s money.
And over there, there's an infinite supply of whiskey. Not sure why they placed it there, of all places, but whatever. Also, there's these cave drawings.
Huh.
They're just like a random part of the texture. I don't think they mean anything. Like, I was trying to figure out what they're trying to symbolize, but apparently it's just like a random part of the cave texture. Anyway, let's head out. And oh, hey, more gold. Why are these people so impoverished? There's gold just lying fucking everywhere. Anyway,
they're impoverished and lazy. Come on now.
They just don't have pickaxes. That's the problem. If they
a stereotype is a stereotype. We're gonna cut it right across the grain.
They're lazy. If they would only go over to the shopkeep and get themselves a pickaxe, they could be rich in like a couple of months at most. Anyway, we picked up a speed loader for our pistol. And hey, let's go over. Oh, that sly bastard! He put the ferry all the way over to that other side. Anyway, let's talk to Pat Denton.
Kid, you're harder than a whetstone. I could use a man like you. I got some business to tend to. You keep the peace while I'm occupied.
I'm pretty sure I saw that NPC motion in Sonic 06. Specifically that forward, like, that go-ahead motion that he did there. Anyway, let's kill some highwaymen. This is a pretty standard type of mission. We saw these, like, Red Dead Redemption had these as well. Like, this is, yeah, that is quick draw glitching out there. I cannot confirm whether the Xbox 3's... that horse! The horse...
He just got trampled by his own horse.
That horse was a snitch. Okay, so the poker brawl here is actually quite difficult. However, I found an exploit. If you try to run into this as a straight fight, it is incredibly difficult. However, best way to deal with this is just to snipe them from the outside. Especially because at this point, they will always shoot your horse and not you. It's almost like, I think this is a literal example of horse armor. Because as long as you're on your horse, the horse will take damage and not you. Whoops, I gotta reload. See, now that my horse is dead, if they had continued shooting, they would have actually hit me. But my horse is basically a human shield, or a horse shield.
He
And
knows where
it's
to find
nice
him.
when the criminals are self-cleaning.
Yep.
He's behind the old bar on the edge of town. Be careful. He's got bodyguards.
So this is the last section of this particular mission, is to deal with the opium pusher. I'm pretty sure that some of these guys used to work for Rooted Crude of the Redhead Gang. Or at least those guys with the torches. I mean, what use would an opium dealer have with torches? Really? Like, wouldn't a careless torchbearer destroy the merchandise?
Careless torchbearer might smoke the merchandise.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, our stats have improved.
Level up!
Yep.
10 whole dollars.
Well, we just dispensed some justice. Look at that dog.
That has to be the mangiest dog I've ever seen.
Look at his walking animation. That's a special walking animation he's got there.
Yep.
Anyway, let's go back to the shopkeep. See what else we could buy here with our $30. Hey, we can get another speed loader. And at this point, I forget that you don't have to bring a horse with you for the next mission. So I kind of go out of my way and then realize I can't talk to Jenny while I'm riding a horse. So that was kind of pointless. Whoops.
We're likely to meet Apaches along the way.
If they get the upper hand, promise you'll put a bullet in my head before they have their fun.
Anyway, how about an escort mission?
Oh, my favorite.
This one's actually not too bad. It's got a couple of breaks in the middle. It's kind of like that one escort mission in Twilight Princess with the stagecoach.
Okay.
Oh god, that man's on fire. So this part introduces friendly NPCs that you have to save along the way, and for some reason when I was recording this, I didn't realize. Also, what the hell am I aiming at? I didn't realize that there were friendly NPCs you had to save. I don't know why. So I accidentally shoot them a couple of times. Sorry.
Can you kill the NPCs?
I think so. Like there are definitely friendly NPCs that you can kill at some point, but I can't remember offhand if those particular NPCs are killable. This also continues the recurring theme that the natives are just absolutely fascinated with explosives. In the gunverse, at least. Oh.
Do these guys know this is happening like 5 feet from their town?
Well, that's the thing. Their eardrums have been completely destroyed after decades of violence. So, no, they don't, because they can't hear it.
We need to clear that wreckage. Find something to blow up that barricade. I can see some TNT on the other side.
Anyway, I just cut there because for some reason I spent like 5 minutes wondering where the hell the entrance was to this area. Oh, more riflemen over here. Oh, yeah, those guys are incredibly dangerous.
They apparently also have steel plates in their heads.
Well, yeah, the rifle's damage like decreases considerably at longer ranges. It's meant as a medium-range weapon. You do eventually get a sniper rifle, but that's not for a couple videos yet.
As long as we're on the topic of weapons, I'm only slightly disappointed you can't dual-wield the revolvers.
Nope, that's... This game's silly, but it's not quite that silly. So this map kind of confused me on this playthrough, because for some reason I just couldn't... Initially I couldn't find the way back up to the TNT. But oh no! Oh, that arrow came dangerously close to ruining that take. It's
Burning
not
arrow
only
in the spleen.
in the spleen, and it's also right next to where his pistol's holstered. So his gun should be exploding right now. Well, that's it for the blockade.
Find a horse. We'll wait for you.
Superb. We're moving right along.
Wait, there's already one in the coach. Oh, you mean a horse? Oh, I am so sorry. Please don't. Please, forget I said anything.
Jesus, they're getting massacred! We're coming to get you!
Don't bring Jesus into this. He has no place in this reckless world of the Wild West.
If anything, he's only making matters worse with his reverend.
Like a goddamn civil war broke out here!
Wait, are we talking Civil War 1 or 2, or is this the MCU movie adaptation? We need to establish this. We need to establish our canon as well as which Earth we're on.
Okay, I got dibs on Team Cap either way.
Actually, no. This is the this is the alternate universe that Neil Gaiman wrote, where everything's in colonial Virginia.
Hold on! I'm gonna make a run for it! Dick meat or nothing. Let's go!
Oh no, I am riding my horse too hard. Whatever shall I do? I guess I should wait a couple seconds. So, Cole doesn't have regenerating health, but thankfully the horse does. The horse has been playing way more cover shooters than Cole has. Every horse has the same properties. It's all based on Cole's horse stat.
The wheel pin's busted. I can fix it, but it'll take some time.
I'll buy you some with this.
Hooker with a heart of gold.
You can't buy anything with a shotgun. You can only rob things with it.
So he can fix the stage.
So this is probably the hardest section of the entire mission. Also, for whatever reason, this shotgun only has one shell loadable at a time. We will eventually be getting a 2-shell shotgun. But for now, I am not a gun expert, so I cannot say whether it is historically accurate to have a shotgun that can only load one shell at a time. But
Yes.
okay, it just seems kind of silly.
It's I'd have to look for the time frames for it, but yeah, it's accurate.
Well, yeah, this game takes place in 1880, which you would do well to keep that in mind for another plot revelation coming up in, I think, video 5? 4 or 5.
Damn it, just keep coming.
So, 1880. Which I think is the same year that Red Dead Revolver is set. Which is not a coincidence. Probably.
Keep it up, Pops is almost done.
Don't worry. The racism is almost over. He disappeared. He's a magic. There
It's
we
a
go.
magic corpse.
Yep, we got our magic Indian finally. It only took until the end of video 2, but we finally have a magic Indian.
You hit him so hard, Obi-Wan Kenobi came and collected him.
He has gone to Dagobah to find Yoda.
All set. Climb up. Now shoot that barrel and let's get the hell out of here. Shoot them powder kegs to blast us a path. Nice shit.
Well, we had the escort mission, we had the protection mission, and now we got the rail shooter.
Oh, the Holy Trinity.
No stealth mission though, at least not now. There's a stealth mission at a later point in the story, but not during this mission, thankfully.
Ja! We gotta keep moving. This whole area's done for.
This area also has friendly NPCs. Also, yeah, there are just sections where some of the natives are scripted to be scalping some of the dead friendly NPCs for no reason other than to provide a scripted event. You saw that other guy.
Little bit of flavor.
Yes.
That taste of bile in your mouth.
Yeah, a little bit of white flavor. With a nice red and blue flag. Though, if you notice, they have a pseudo-Confederate flag that they use in this game, which has a skull on it. What? That horse disappeared too.
I mean, everything Big Boss does has a skull on it. Come on.
Yeah, true. Oh, look, there's another scalping Indian right there. But there's seemingly no reason. It's like the dancing enemies in God Hand. There's no reason for them to be there.
They didn't cut the scalping. They cut your scalping.
You can still scalp, but there's no reason for it. It's just there. And you can only I haven't decided whether I'm going to show off the scalping or not, but in case I don't, you can only scalp enemies that are dying but not dead, and there's a brief animation.
Oh.
There's a brief animation for it, and it has absolutely no purpose other than to basically humiliate your enemies. I almost would have preferred for them to have that extra trading quest, because then there would at least be some sort of black comedy reward for it.
Right, so instead it's the Wild West equivalent of teabagging in Call of Duty.
Yes. No, worse. Halo teabagging. Even worse than Call of Duty teabagging. Oh, yeah, they got a wagon. Just the horses exploding. But yeah, it's like there's an exploitation set off without a punchline. Just having the scalping there for no purpose is somehow even more gross and unsettling than if they had included the extra trading side quest.
Sorry, no free ride.
That is not how acupuncture works. For one thing, there's no fire involved.
I am concerned we're not going to get Naomi and Drebin out of this.
Funny you should mention Metal Gear. I think it's next video. We'll be seeing a Metal Gear voice actor's appearance. You're not even scalping in the right position. I mean, come on. You were at least 3 feet away from the corpse there.
He wasn't doing his job. He was goofing off.
Oh,
He's
hey, there was
fired.
some gold there.
We can't stop and get it, though.
Nope.
We'll be back for it later.
Look, You can grab enemies and try to execute them, and the corpse just sort of floats away. Gingerly, like a piece of paper in the wind.
There she is! Empire! Don't let them near my coat! Look alive now, we're almost there! Everything is history!
Excuse me, excuse me, them Indians are history. Get your grammar right, sir.
There is something a little satisfying about the wagon explosions, I'm not gonna lie.
Thank God you're here. The damn Apaches cut the telegraph wires, and I was beginning to fear for the worst.
We were ambushed in the Badlands.
None of your precious parts was damaged, I hope. You know how our customers hate bruised fruit.
I'm in one piece, thanks to Colton here. He left more than a few Apaches dead in their tracks.
Son, you've done the town of Empire a great service. I'm Mayor Hoodoo Brown. Should you ever need any assistance, please don't hesitate to ask.
I am looking for someone.
I told him you would help.
Of course, of course. Listen, why don't you have a look around town, then come and see me inside, and we'll have ourselves a proper sit-down. Now, let's get you freshened up.
To hell with that line rag!
Goddamn reprobates have no respect for law and order.
He's wearing a Monopoly piece.
Well, hopefully we get to send those damn reprobates to hell, boy.
Yes, we will send them on a ride to hell, Retribution, no longer available on Steam.